Nerdrotic.com.
Star Wars has there's something hypnotic about its branding, I think, because it was the most popular IP in the world. Marvel is now. It's also the testament of what George created in the original trilogy and the potential of that world. That the EU probably tapped, then they immediately got rid of. I would say that's the best thing outside of the original trilogy would be the potential of the EU. Let's be real. It's sci-fi for normies. It's easily digestible for normies because there isn't a ton of fixed lore in the movies. Sorry, EU fans, but we're talking about in the movies. And with most people, if it ain't moving on a screen, it didn't happen. And believe me, the filmmakers feel the same way. They will change whatever they need to change. It sucks because sometimes they bypass great stories in the EU, and I'm with you on that one, but that we're talking about Hollywood here. So it's a very digestible thing to normies, but it's always been about the Skywalkers, and that's what they're both, Marsha and fucking Howard Kazanjian say in this. Like, where they fucked up is with the Skywalkers, obviously. But think about like why they did that, and I know there's defenders out there that can formulate a good sounding argument for The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens and stuff, but they're hollow stories that they deliberately went out to deconstruct everybody's favorite hero. He does not come out good at any point. He ODs on the Force at the end. He doesn't even fight somebody in person, and they said it. They said we didn't want Luke to overshadow Rey.
Yeah, look how that turned out.
Yeah. So they were freely willing to sacrifice billions to build up Rey. And I guess they were confident enough in their abilities to build Rey up to be the next Luke Skywalker. And that's the problem when you're good at bullshit. Sometimes you're really good at bullshitting yourself.
Yeah. Everyone loves Rey. She's I can't remember if this is 100% how it went, but wasn't there plans to bring in the 3 OT characters earlier? But was it Michael Arndt who convinced JJ to push them back?
Yeah. Well, that's what JJ says. JJ always says it was somebody else who convinced him of something. I think JJ's just absolutely full of shit all the time. So I wouldn't trust anything he said.
Well, in fairness, he said that he was convinced by Oscar Isaac to undead him. Remember, because he died when the ship crash lands right at the beginning of TFA, but then, as famously known, Oscar Isaac convinced him to bring him back, which caused major issues in the storyline for TFA.
Because Oscar Isaac really loves Star Wars, and now he hates the fucking thing.
He did. He was I think they thought when making TFA, this is going to be great. This is going to be really, really good. And then I think when they completed TLJ, they were probably like, I'm not so sure. We've just done 2 out of 3 now. And look at the results. Look at all the stories. Look what Luke, I don't know. And then they saw the fan reaction, and then they filmed Rise of Skywalker. Could you imagine how dour it would have been between shootings and that, where they're just sort of sitting around as actors talking about do you reckon people are going to like this one? I don't know, man. I don't know. They got Palpatine coming back. I could so picture Oscar Isaac talking to John Boyega about how stupid it is that Palpatine's coming back, and that's the villain. And then they'd be like, "Well, who else would it be?" It's like Snoke. It's like Ryan killed Snoke. No one knows who Snoke is. What the fuck's the point? They put him in a jar. I don't know. Fucking no one knows what the hell's happening in this stupid fucking movie. And then they're like, "Well, you can have a Disney Plus show." They're like, "I'm out. I think I'm out. This was a disaster." Yeah, I think just TFA gave us a bit of a blinding, a lot of people anyway, including the actors, because it's clear that Oscar Isaac's lost faith in any Disney Star Wars stuff. Same for John Boyega.
Wouldn't you?
Well, absolutely. I think at one point though that they were so excited because I think they thought they were just jumping on history.
Everyone was excited. I mean, that we talked about the mind control scene earlier. That Stormtrooper's Daniel Craig.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Who was so desperate just to be part of Star Wars that he said he'd do a cameo as a Stormtrooper just to get in. So that's James Bond right there in that Stormtrooper outfit. And he must be thinking, "Oh my God, I'm a kid. I'm in Star Wars. This is a dream come true." And now he's probably thinking,
Well, it'll get to a point where it'll be like, "How did you feel about filming on TFA?" He'd be like, "Oh, right. Yes, Star Wars, I guess."
No, well, he'd be like, "Oh, that cameo I did on that Disney film."
Yeah.
He wouldn't even name it Star Wars, just that Disney film.
And that's the legacy. I don't know about you guys, but it comes up on EFAP the most just as a bad reference. You should be like, "Oh, this is like when they did in the sequel trilogy," and that's all it is. and that's all it really should be, to be honest with you. Just a reference in the history of how not to do a thing.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to spend a lot of time fixing it, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they do fucking multiverse or whatever. I mean, like, they're doing it in the Marvel films, and I think they're gonna reset a lot of stuff, not for the better at this point.
Who cares? You took a franchise that was beloved. You bought it because you wanted a boys' property at Disney to counter all the feminine properties that you had, and then you gave it to a woman that wanted it to appeal to girls who make up a very small proportion of that actual fan base, and then you it's just,
I mean,
it's incompetence beyond compare.
I was going to say, like, all the Force's female stuff is absolute horseshit, but the idea that she could have a female main character, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're not retarded, I think we can pull it off, yeah.
It didn't matter that the lead was female. It mattered how they portrayed that character.
Yeah.
I mastered the ability of the Force and beat all the Force wielders that I came up against. Nah problem, like,
Remember when they almost had her kill Chewie? What the fuck?
It was so she could scream, and I think they do some scenes so they can have her scream in the trailer, so we can have we need a screaming scene.
Ooh, what's that? What happened? Who died?
Yeah.
What was the event? No, she just fucked up.
Oh, it's so bad. She's just like, Chewie's up there. They're like, what? She's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's like, okay, you can just, Rey could feel him through the Force because they have such a strong connection, you see.
I don't care. Like, they can bring everybody back right now and say we're sorry, and I'd find it hard to care at all at this point. It's just the brand is kind of lame now. Sure, the Mandalorian's out there, and a lot of people like it. I'm not going to deny that at all. But they managed to fuck that up too. Let's not forget, there's no Cara Dune, and if it was such a popular hot show, why would you take an extra year with it? And why would you let your star go do another show, The Last of Us? Which
I still think they're hoping to transfer all the goodwill from Mandalorian to all their other shows. They never had a plan with Mandalorian. They didn't know what they were doing with it.
Yeah, but if The Last of Us is a success, then good luck getting him back for the Mandalorian season 4.
They need him. If they have a good impressionist, they won't need him.
They don't. I don't think they do. Yeah, they just get the guy who voiced Robert Downey Jr. in the last What If. I'm sure he can do it. Anybody could do it. Well, all he does is, I'm sorry. Okay.
Where's the baby?
Hey, buddy. I bypassed the compressor. Century.
Or, you know what? Episode 1, they could just show him, he gets killed, and then someone else walks on the screen. They're like, I am the Mandalorian now. New actor. Okay.
No, because it's gonna be fucking a woman.
No, I think that's what a lot of people think, that the Mandalorian's gonna be Bo-Katan, right? It's gonna be Katie Sackhoff. Grace Randolph was saying it was gonna be Boba Fett, and she was kind of right on her rumor, by the way. So I gotta back my girl Grace. We're tight. She said that the Boba Fett might be the Mandalorian season 3, and it kind of is. It's filling the spot, and he's Mandalorian-ish.
It was kind of that the whole time. It was like, remember Mandalorians? They're cool. We're not doing Boba Fett. We're doing a whole new character. Look at this character. He's a great. Oh, you can check out Boba Fett though. There he is. Look, he's cool. Isn't it? Oh, you really? Fuck it. Let's do Boba Fett. What's the point anymore? Just do Boba Fett.
Let's get him back. Get him in. Done.
Season 2 is the cameo road show. I think they got the results they wanted. So
they did. They were able to set up a universe. I mean, it was Iron Man 2. It was essentially the Iron Man 2 of Mandalorian. The Mandalorian season 1 was Iron Man 1. It was a success. So they sacrificed a sequel to and it worked for them. I mean, not like the story, that there's no real story, because the biggest moment is like this tacked on thing with Luke Skywalker at the end, and it makes you forget about all the other cameos that were in there. It was crazy with cameos. And now we have 7 more shows, or 20, or I don't know. And they're all going to be 2 or 3 years away. And now there's a big plan that's going to culminate in them fighting Thrawn.
They are going to fuck up Thrawn.
They are going to fuck up Thrawn, and the EU and the Disney trilogy will still exist at the end, I believe. I hope I'm wrong.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
If you like what I do here, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking and sharing the videos. It really does help. And if you did this with your favorite YouTuber as well, I'm sure they would appreciate it as much as I do.